Welcome to Digital Marketing School. Today we're talking to Cathy from PopCap Games. Cathy, welcome to Digital Marketing School. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do at PopCap Games?
We make video games for multiple platforms, so anything from Mac PC, you can buy games on popcap.com online, mobile phones, consoles, and most recently we're making games for social networks like Facebook. So a very varied offering.
And how do PopCap Games use digital marketing?
Well, first and foremost, our services are largely digital. Much of our games are actually online, whether that's on the website or on Facebook or say through apps. So it's been an interesting one for us because when approaching digital marketing, we have to look at it from the other side. Often we're asking ourselves, how can we bring offline audiences online? So it kind of works slightly differently. We tend to use quite a traditional approach even when approaching digital marketing. So a lot of people talk about, oh, how am I going to get my viral strategy in place? Or I need to have a social strategy yesterday. We tend to look at the platforms and the digital platforms as tools, but in essence, the content that we're looking to put out there is largely the same. So we come from a standpoint of wanting to communicate to people what our services and games are about, and our games are about fun. And we want to demonstrate that fun. So our approach tends to be quite personal, quite dedicated. We look at kind of talking to audiences across the board and convincing them to play our games. So the actual content and the approach is the same, and then obviously we've just got an awful lot more digital tools to play with.
At PopCap, you've allowed people to sample the games before they buy them. Have you found this a successful model?
PopCap was founded about 10 years ago. And at the time they were founded, obviously it was the dot-com bubble. That's what we were all talking about then. And that, for many people who were starting businesses at that time, changed how they, put together their business models. And PopCap was no different. The online advertising was really going down. That was obviously a real thorn in their side in terms of how they were going to launch PopCap Games. So they decided to look at something slightly differently. And what they came up with was this try before you buy model of games. So you allow people to play the game for free, and then if they decide they wanted to buy a kind of all souped up, all singing, all dancing version of it, they had that option. It was an interesting one because at the time people said, why on earth are people going to pay for something that they can get for free? But they went ahead, and to amuse themselves more than anything else, the three founders actually invented a little application that sat on their computer, and every time they got a sale it would make the cash register ka-ching sound. And after about a week they were coming in thick and fast, so then they realized, okay, this is going to work. And now it's industry standard. In fact, still today I think more than 50% of casual games revenues come from that try before you buy model.
You spoke at the Marketing Institute recently and you said that you were trying to put the fun back into marketing games. How is PopCap doing this?
It's such a huge area and a really exciting one, I think, for the games industry, but also for Ireland, as we have so many different consumer technology companies setting up shop here. And in terms of, I suppose, casual games, the areas people are talking about is the opportunities offered by smartphones and also new platforms, so things like social networks. What is the potential for companies working in this area? I think going forward, there's a wider viewpoint for marketeers generally, and that is looking at, even if your product or service isn't in the technology area, your audience is still going to be impacted by these changes in consumer technology. So it's looking at it from a standpoint of consumer technology is now so much more consumer than it is technology. So even if your service is something offline, your consumer is most likely being targeted online all the time. And that's something you have to factor in. And there's huge opportunities, I think, for marketing as well. If you are in the technology space, one thing that I have learned is that you no longer have to step entirely outside your product or service to bring customers in. Technology is becoming more exciting for people generally people want to know what the latest iPhone does, what are going to be the new features of the iPad 2. People are actively information seeking.
Have you found the global reach of the online community important in your business strategy?
It affects everything, business strategies and marketing strategies. What we're looking at now is a future that is largely connected, and people talk a lot about connected gaming and what that means. For us, we're looking at, obviously we have our games on all these different platforms, and going forward there's going to be an increasing demand from consumers to connect to these platforms. So you may start playing a game at your laptop at work, you get on your bus, you want to continue playing your game on the bus, you get home, you want to play it at home, and you want to pick up where you've left off. We've started looking at doing that, so something like Bejeweled Blitz, where you play on Facebook and you can also then play on your mobile phone. You can also play on a downloadable version of the game. And that's something that we're really looking towards going forward. So how we connect all these gaming experiences. And I think similarly, we're going to see that mirror in marketing. So how do we connect our marketing? People talk a lot about integrated campaigns, and that's something that I'm definitely looking at a lot more closely. Not only in terms of this connected experience for consumers, but also in terms of there are so many more tools for marketeers out there that naturally means there's going to be a lot more noise. So to create impact and cut through, you really have to align your messaging. So obviously that approach of connecting your marketing becomes very important.
Cathy Orr from PopCap Games, thanks for talking to us today at Digital Marketing School.